shoulders down and back. My back is nice and flat. Oh, Jesus. Don't hit yourself in the crotch with the bar. I think key for reducing food noise, because if you plan what you're going to eat tomorrow the night before,
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. I'm a women's online fitness coach who is trying to help women make their 30s the healthiest, happiest, and hottest decade of their life so far. If you're not new here, welcome back. I appreciate you so much for hanging out with me again. Today we have a leg day. I've not filmed a leg day for you guys in a little while, so we're gonna do a full-on balls to the walls, hardcore, heavy frickin' leg day. I had a really solid dinner last night, so I should be nice and carved up. I had a little bit of mango this morning and a little fruit bar, and we should be good. We should have high energy. We should feel strong, fingers crossed. During today's workout, I want to talk a little bit about some fitness trends and fads, things that I like, things that I don't like, how to know what fads are worth your time and money, what's not, and just things like that. And then we'll just kind of shoot the shit and talk about random stuff, because that's just kind of what ends up happening. So I'm going to drink my pre-workout and let's go hit this leg day. Cheers.
we are starting today's leg day with abductions and adductions. So if you're a short girl, putting a pad behind your back is super helpful when you're doing these. So we're going to start with abductions, ABD, which means to bring apart. We're going to push, and this is just so we can get warmed up. Today's like a full leg day. It's not just a glute day, but I always like to get a little bit of a glute pump first, so that way my glutes are really engaged throughout the entire workout, because I'm always here to grow the booty. There's this obsession with growing the glutes, which I understand because I'm trying to grow mine too. We're going to drop the weight for adductions, ADD, which is the ones where we start open and we bring it together. But there's like an obsession with growing glutes, right? And most women, or a lot of women at least, think they can grow glutes by doing glute exercises every day, or doing like banded squats and banded kickbacks. And that doesn't grow your glutes. In order to grow your glutes, you actually have to challenge them. So you have to lift heavy. And then you also got to make sure you're eating enough to support the growth. Being in a calorie deficit is not going to help you grow your glutes. In order to grow muscle, you need a surplus of calories. When women say like, I want to work on getting a flat stomach and growing my glutes at the same time, it's really kind of like these two things are battling each other. You're better off growing your glutes first and then leaning out. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's going to take you a lot longer to grow your glutes, if possible, depending on how big of a calorie deficit you're in. The other thing is, it takes a long time to grow your glutes. I don't think people understand that. Like, it takes years to grow your glutes. And some of these influencers that you see that have like really big glutes and a really small waist probably have better genetics than you do. I'm not leaving it all to genetics at all, but they probably started training a lot younger than you did. They took it more seriously than you did. And they already had like a really great place to start. Not saying they didn't put in the hard work, but I'm just saying like everyone starts at a different place. Everyone has different genetics. It's taken me, how long? 10 plus years to grow my glutes. And to be honest, I didn't really start focusing on glutes until like maybe the last like 5 years. Like take it seriously. I would like do some glute stuff, but I really didn't take it seriously until like the last 5 years. And there's been massive growth. I still don't have a big jiggly booty, and that's never going to happen. Like that's just not my genetics, and you have to be able to understand that. I have a very muscular butt, but it's never going to be big and juicy and jiggly like I would like it to be. It was so funny. Like the first time I think my boyfriend ever touched my butt, he was like, I don't think I've ever felt such a muscular butt. He was like, it's fine. Like it looks great, but like there's no jiggle. I'm like, exactly. Because my body just doesn't hold fat in my glutes. Like it doesn't. You see those women with the big juicy booties, like that's genetics. It really is. I just don't naturally store fat in my butt. So the only option I have is to build muscle, which is going to look different than a naturally big butt, but that's okay. Understanding that you can only do what you can do with the genetics and the body that you have helps you stop comparing yourself to everybody else on the internet. Okay, so we're still warming up right now. So we're gonna do some Smith machine squats, and then we're gonna go into Smith machine Bulgarians. I just wanted to get some squats in there to like warm up my quads and my hamstrings. So when you're doing squats in a Smith machine, the hard thing about this is people tend to rely on the bar and like let their weight fall on the bar. And you don't want to do that because that's not going to prepare you for doing an actual barbell squat, because you can't do that. Otherwise you're going to fall backwards. So you still want good squat form. Ooh. Oh, that means we need to move the safeties down. I didn't even check for those. Don't do what I just did and always check for the safeties. But you want to still use your strength when you're doing Smith squats. You don't want to rely on the bar. Another thing when it comes to growing your glutes is making sure you know how to engage them. If you sit a lot for your job, it can be really, really challenging to actually like engage them and fire them up. So some things that you can do is do some banded clamshells. It's where you lay on the ground, you lay your legs on top of each other, and you kind of open. That helps engage them. We're only gonna do one set of these, and then we're gonna go to barbell Smith machine Bulgarians. So you can do Bulgarians with dumbbells, with a barbell, in a Smith machine, with pretty much anything. But I like a Smith machine because it helps you be a little bit more stabilized where you're doing them, and you can add a lot more weight. The only hard part is like setting up for it properly. We're gonna do a set without any weight first. Make sure everything is set up correctly. See, the bench needs to go a little bit further back. Okay. There we go. So Bulgarians are hard. They're super freaking hard, but they're so good for you. So the thing you want to remember is to drive through the foot that's planted on the floor and more in the heel. It's like you're driving your foot through the ground. You're squeezing your glute on the way up. Those are feeling gnarly already, and there's no weight on this. Another thing about the Smith machine is it adds a natural resistance to it. So it feels hard even if there isn't weight on it. I think finding people that have like realistic body goals for you is a great way to not compare yourself to other people. So for instance, like if I try to look like a woman that has a natural, very Coca-Cola hourglass shape, I'm going to be so freaking frustrated because I'm never going to look like that. That's just not my genetics. I have a very square, athletic build, very wide. So for me personally, if I'm looking at anyone that's more like body goals, not that I think I will ever look like Kelly Matthews, but she's very athletic. Her glutes are like pure muscle. And like, that's more of a realistic physique for me to work towards than like a super hourglass curvy. Although I think Kelly Matthews is still a bit unrealistic for me because she's also a good bit taller than me. I'm only 5'1". But stop, comparing yourself to all these women that don't have a similar body type as you or have had surgery. That's another thing. Like, I think people would be shocked how many women in the fitness industry have had liposuction, BBLs, all of the above. It's probably a lot more than you think. And there's a lot more that are on peds than you realize as well. If it doesn't look realistic naturally, it's probably not. or they won the genetic lottery, but these are feeling really good today. One thing with Bulgarians is you can't be too far away from the bench, especially if you're trying to incorporate your glutes. All right, we're gonna get real feisty. We're gonna throw 25s on there. If you struggle with balance, the Smith machine is a great way to do Bulgarians, or you can even do like Bulgarians where you have something next to you that you can hold on to until you get strong enough and build your balance. Balance is one of those things, if you don't use it, you lose it. So you need to incorporate balance in like lateral movements and unilateral, like one leg at a time and stuff like that. You need to do that as soon as possible because you want to preserve your balance. It might sound stupid now, but when you're 60 or 70 and you're walking and you trip, I want you to be able to catch yourself and not break a hip, because falls for elderly people are so scary because I think it reduces their lifespan by like 5 to 10 years if they have a fall, a significant fall. It's crazy. So if you can work on your balance now, you're going to save yourself a lot of potential heartache later. I have one client that I still work with. She's in her late 60s. I used to train her in person and then we went virtual, and she's the only client that I do this for. We do video workouts. So twice a week, I call her, I FaceTime her, and we do a workout together. And one of the most important things that we focus on is balance. And she likes to travel. And I can't remember where she went last year. She went somewhere in Europe, and she travels with like a group of other elderly women. Isn't that cute? But she was telling me how a lot of the places they went, the ground was like cobblestone, and some of the other women were really struggling because they couldn't balance well. And she felt confident and great that entire time. She even went on a hike that they did. Like, I want you to have that freedom well into your 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, it's not always about aesthetic or the now. Think about the future. Ooh, those 25s, I'm feeling it. It feels good. Should we add the 10s? I think we're going to add the 10s. I said I wanted to sweat today, so we're going to sweat today. We're going to take a little breather, though, before we start that next set. I know at the beginning I said we would talk about fitness trends and like my opinion on them. So there's a few things right now that are really trendy. Number one, weighted vests. Talked about this in my last video. Nothing against weighted vests. Wonderful. If it makes you want to go on a walk, great. If it makes your walk more challenging, awesome. So excited for you, so happy for you, but it's not, at the same time, it's not necessary. I think what happens is like people get so engulfed in these trends that they think there's only like one way to do it. So now instead of doing a hot girl walk, we have to do a walk with a weighted vest. This happened last year when running got really trendy and everyone had like their run belts and all that stuff. And like, you can go outside and run and you don't need all that stuff, at least in the beginning, until you take it more seriously. But I think people like jump the gun and just like think they have to buy all the things before they even know if it's something they want to do long term or not. It's starting to get hot. Probably need to put my hair up. I always tell you this, that I try to be cute for you guys, but I think leg day is just a day I'm not gonna look cute. I'm just gonna look like a disheveled mess the rest of the video. So I apologize. Look how long my front pieces are. I need a haircut so bad. Okay, let's do another set. I'll show you guys what it looks like from the side so you get a better idea of form. Also, remember, we added weight, so if I look like I'm dying, I probably am. Okay. I see girls do these online with like the bar and 45s. I'm gonna get there. All right, we're gonna do one more set. We threw another 10 on here. So we have 45 on each side. Do I know if I'm going to be able to do this? We will see, and we will see how many I can get. The goal is 5 to 6. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't, it is okay. That's all part of lifting weights. You just got to try. This is going to be heavy. All right. Okay, we got 5 on that leg. Let's do this. We got 4 on that leg. I'll take it. I think I'm going to do one more set at this weight, and then we'll move on. Because these are feeling really good, and it feels good to like really push myself. But when you're exercising, make sure you exhale during the hard part or the eccentric. I can't remember right now. But basically, exhale when you're doing the work portion, inhale when you're getting back to the original form. So on these Bulgarians, we're going to exhale when we're pushing up, inhale on the way down. If you feel like you get dizzy or lose your breath a lot when you're exercising, try to focus on your breathing. Inhale during the relaxed portion, exhale during the work. You can say it out loud, you can say it in your head to remind you until it becomes second nature. It will eventually when you do it enough times. I get really, really red when I work out. I have like a ton of red undertones to my skin. So the dermatologist that I saw a few months ago for this little red mark on my nose, which is basically a popped blood vessel, she recommended doing a laser on it to get rid of it, which it's just cosmetic. There's nothing wrong. So I'm going to do that. But she said they can do laser on my entire face because I naturally have such red undertones. So I'm really thinking about doing it just because I get so flushed when I'm hot, when I drink, like even half of one drink, I get really red and flushed. So I might do it, but I don't know. It's also like $500 to do my whole face. And I think it's $150 just to do my nose. So it's like, we'll see how I'm feeling. But I'm going to wait till after summer because you don't want to do lasers and then be in the sun or have a lot of sun exposure. All right, last set. And today I'm wearing a set by Oner, which I didn't want to like this brand, but I do. See, I'm very like anti-trendy things in the fitness industry because a lot of it's a waste of money and whatever, but Oner is actually like really good quality. And so I'm mad that I like it because it's expensive, but I really like their soft motion collections because it's just really, really soft, as you can tell by the name. And then I did just get 2 of their like loungewear sets. They're like the oversized sweats, which you'll see me wear those in the fall in the gym. But I got black and nude. And the thing I do like about Oner is they have short, medium, short, regular, and long sizes in like everything. So I got the short sweatpants and they're still long enough. This is my issue as someone who's 5'1". I need short sizes, but my legs are oddly long for how short I am. So a lot of times short stuff is like high waters on me or it's too short. But Oner still makes them long enough to where like they drag on the floor for me. Not really drag, they touch the floor. And it's like the perfect length. So, it's an investment, but when you find stuff that just fits you really well, especially when you struggle to find things that fit you, like me, I will buy things in every color, which is why I always wear dark sport shirts and things like that. Because when I like it, I'm just going to buy a bunch of them. So I think there's a difference between, like, if you want to do something trendy, go for it. Like, I'm not going to judge you, but I think picking and choosing the trends you want to hop on, because some of it's just a waste of money, time, and I also don't want to look like everybody or act like everybody. Okay, we got to do our other leg. Ooh, I'm getting a hamstring cramp. That has never happened before. I think I'm talking to you guys too much. Oh, I'm scared I'm going to get a cramp in this right leg. Okay, suck it up. Let's do it anyways. We'll see what happens. Those were hard and they sucked. Whew. All right, we're going to do hamstring curls. Oh shit, hold on. Oh, I guess that is as low as it goes. Okay, I need to give myself a little bit of a rest before we go to something really hard again. So we're gonna use hamstring curls to kind of like catch our breath, let our heart rate come back down a little bit, and then we'll go into another big movement. I'm thinking sumo squats of some kind, either with a really heavy dumbbell or the landmine. So we'll see where the least amount of people are and then go from there. Another trend we could talk about is like the whole Pilates trend right now. I have nothing against Pilates. It's so freaking hard. And it's really, oh, I think there's hair. Like, it's so hard. It's amazing for core stability, core strength, all kinds of things. But you still need to do strength training if you are trying to get toned or build muscle. I think there was a lot of women that were lifting heavy that have now shifted to Pilates, which is cool. But I think it's giving a false representation that Pilates is what got them the bodies that they have, which is not true. Pilates helped them lean out and challenge them in different ways, but Pilates is not going to make you build a ton of muscle. It just doesn't. It's not enough resistance training. So I think if you can do Pilates and resistance training, you are going to be much better off. Your physique is going to change so much from doing those two. So like I said, I have no issues with Pilates. I think it's wonderful. But we have to understand what the aesthetic expectations are of doing something. So it really just depends on what you want to look like, what your goals are, what you enjoy. And ultimately, I just want you to do what you like to do. I like to lift weights, which is why I do it. I love hot yoga. I currently don't go somewhere that has hot yoga, but in the next few months, I would love to reincorporate that into my routine because it really helped me with lifting because it improved my flexibility and my mobility and was just like a really nice way of, like, I just felt so light afterwards, if that makes sense. I felt like I released all kinds of just sweat and water and toxins. I loved it. So I don't ever think there's one right way or there's only one way to do something. You just have to understand what that specific thing is actually going to do for you. Another trend I think we need to talk about is electrolytes and how people are now saying water is not enough. And that is a bold-faced fucking lie. Oh, that's heavy. Water is absolutely enough. Okay, we're gonna have to talk about this after this because this is fucking heavy. So electrolytes, which is essentially what Gatorade is, was created for individuals that are working out and losing tons of water, typically outside in the hot sun, or they have like a labor intensive job outside in the hot sun. Those individuals, electrolytes, highly recommend. Football players, things like that. Working out in an air conditioned gym or sitting at your desk during the day, you don't need electrolytes. It is a waste of money, first of all. Second of all, that's so much sodium. The recommendation for sodium intake for an average person is 12 to 1500 milligrams. I think it got up to 1500. It used to be 12 or flip that. But those packets alone have like an entire day's recommendation of sodium. High levels of sodium can increase your chances of getting high blood pressure. So it's just you're paying for salt, flavored salt. You don't need flavored salt. Save your money. That shit's expensive. There's a few people that I think can take it. So people that have low blood pressure issues, people that, I have one client, she gets really faint before she works out and during her workout. So we've been experimenting with those, but it's not for like your everyday person. But it's become another thing that's just trendy and people are buying the shit out of it and you're wasting your money. So if you've hopped on the electrolyte train, I suggest you stop and you invest that money into getting healthier food. You don't need electrolytes. I mean, if you really want to spend your money on it, by all means, but you don't need it. You can use salt to your advantage as like a pump. So before you work out, you can add salt to some water, and that will help with a pump. My other big thing with trends is you need to understand why you're doing something. If you don't look into the why behind it, it's kind of pointless. I always think, hey, but like I said, it's about understanding why you're doing something, and then that determines whether you should do it or not. And then being okay with it. So for instance, I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite. During a workout, I drink BCAAs and creatine. Now, there's a huge like split within the fitness community that BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, don't actually do anything for you. It's just expensive water. Like it's just expensive flavored water. And you know what? I think they're right. But I have drank BCAAs since I started working out, and it's just like something that I really enjoy. So I'm okay with spending the money on it. And maybe in my head, I'm tricking myself into thinking that it helps me. But what I actually want to do when I'm done with the BCAAs that I have is I think I'm just going to get sugar-free Gatorade powder, mix a little bit in with my water during my workouts and see, because I think the thing is I like just having something flavored while I'm working out. And so I don't even think it needs to be BCAAs. I think it just needs to be some sort of flavor. So if I get like flavored, like just Gatorade powder, it's a lot cheaper and maybe it'll have the same placebo effect for me. But that's something that like I understand it. I've done research on it and I'm still okay with it. But okay, we're going to do sumo squats here. So sumo is going to be a wide stance. I'm going to turn my toes out slightly. We're going to stand up, down, up. This is a very glute focused kind of squat. Since today turned into a glute day. And I really push my knees out and squeeze my glutes as I come up. Nacho Libre style. We're going to throw another 45 on there because why the hell not? We're just going for it today. Here's this side angle for you guys so you can see it in a different thing. One of the most important things that people don't pay attention to and why people get knee pain during squats and deadlifts is you need to make sure everything is aligned. So if I'm going to do a sumo and my feet are wide, when I come down, I need my knees to be in alignment with my ankles. I don't want my knees to cave in or push out too much. So I think everything needs to be in line. Okay. Let's do this. Shoulders down and back. My back is nice and flat. Oh, Jesus. Don't hit yourself in the crotch with the bar. I think we need to grab a handle because I just can't grip the bar. It's slipping too much. Okay, well, I lied. My gym is too fancy and we just don't have a normal triangle handle. So what you could do, which you can do this with like bent over rows, you grab the like triangle looking one and you put it right here so that way you have something to grip onto. But we don't, all of ours are fancy and don't look like that. So we're just gonna have to suck it up and adjust our grip a bunch of times. And why not talk about the biggest fitness trend right now, which is GLP-1s. Let's talk about it after this set. Okay, so GLP-1s. I have nothing against GLP-1s, and I don't think they're a way of cheating. But I think there's some things that you need to consider before taking a GLP-1. Number one is you absolutely have to do resistance training and make sure you're eating enough protein. Because as women, after the age of 30, every decade we lose 10% of our bone density, which makes us very likely to get osteoporosis when we're older. Now, if you're losing weight rapidly and you're not strength training and you're not eating enough protein, your body's going to start eating away at muscle tissue and bone. So over time, you're now reducing your bone density even more, which makes your likelihood of getting osteoporosis even higher. The other aspect of that is it's not going to solve all of your problems. The things that you were struggling with before you took the GLP-1 are things you're still going to struggle with while on the GLP-1. So you have to keep trying to build the habits. It is not a cure-all to fix like your inconsistency. It's a tool. It is an aid, but is not the solution. Okay, I lied. We're going to finish with standing abductions. There's both leg extension machines are taken right now. So we're just going to finish with the glutes, and then the next leg day, we'll go a little heavier on quads. But in regards to the GLP-1, so a couple years ago when I was still training clients in person, I had two different women that got bariatric surgery, and I worked with them post-op. And one of them took it very seriously and made like a significant lifestyle change. So she, really paid attention to her portion sizes, was eating enough protein, was not missing any training sessions, was active outside of her training sessions. And she lost over 100 pounds in 2 years and put on a significant amount of muscle mass, which was crazy. Like her photos are insane that she lost as much weight as she did. And then I had another client who around the same time, maybe a few months later, got bariatric surgery. And she kind of coasted the first few months where the surgery was doing its job. She was losing a good amount of weight without, we were training, I want to say 1 to 2 times a week. And the surgery was doing its job. And then she hit a point where she started making a lot of excuses. She started overeating and not sticking to the portion sizes that her doctor told her she needed to stick to. She wasn't getting in enough protein. She was using all kinds of excuses like work and everything. And she ended up gaining the weight back and was canceling training sessions and everything. So it's one of those things where I can only do so much. I can only encourage, motivate, call you out, all the things. But if you're not actually fully committed to it and really, really ready to make a change, it's not going to happen. And it's unfortunate that that happened considering she had the surgery, but it's the same thing with a GLP-1. If you think it's going to just solve all your issues and get rid of all the problems, you're taking it for the wrong reasons, and you're not going to be as successful as you think you are, especially post GLP-1, or post GLP-1 or bariatric surgery. And so many women tell me they want to take a GLP-1 because it helps reduce the food noise, which I totally understand 100%. As someone who's struggled with weight their entire life, I get the food noise. All right, we're going to do one more set and then call it a day. But the food noise thing. So I have a client who recently told me that her food noise has reduced significantly and she's not on a GLP-1. So how are we making that happen? Number one, she's eating enough calories. She is in a calorie deficit, but she's eating almost 2,000 calories a day. And her body's recomping like nobody's business. She's lost about 10 pounds since we've been working together, but her muscle mass to body fat ratio is insane. It is changing weekly and it's so exciting. But also, planning ahead is, I think, key for reducing food noise, because if you plan what you're going to eat tomorrow the night before, you now have a structured plan to get you through the day. So you're not at work thinking, okay, what am I going to eat for dinner? And now you have all these options and you're stressing about it. You have like a step-by-step meal guide or meal plan that you essentially wrote for yourself. And that makes such a huge difference. So I think making sure you're eating enough calories, making sure you're getting in enough protein, and then planning your meals ahead of time will make a huge difference with the food noise. Am I saying it's going to go away completely? Absolutely not. But why not do as many things as you possibly can to minimize the things that you're struggling with? I think that people have this like weird perception that like people that are into fitness or people that are like really successful with it just like don't have sweet cravings, don't have food cravings or any of the above, but that's not really the case. It's usually they don't have the tools or they don't set themselves up for success. So I recommend doing that for sure. All right, let's get our last set and then we'll be done.
That's our workout for today. I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out. Make sure you like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And now I've got to run into the grocery store and I forgot to bring a pair of shorts to throw over my gym shorts. So this is gonna be a little uncomfortable, but I gotta go grab a few things. I'll see you guys next week.